It is 6 o'clock on May 13th, and this is the meeting of the General Committee for the City of Hendersonville. We are calling this meeting to order, and we're going to do a roll call now. If I'll start, we'll go around the table. I'm Bob Garzon. I'm the chairman of General Committee.
Rachel Collins, Alderman from Ward 5.
Jason Gallo, Administrative Services Director.
Lance Ray, City Attorney.
Jay Ritterbeck, Economic Development.
Mr. Skidmore.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Mark Sidmore, Alderman Ward 1. And I almost keep forgetting Vice Mayor too. I forget about that.
Eddie Davidson, VP of Government Affairs from Piedmont Natural Gas.
Piedmont Natural Gas, Stephen Franciscan, Community Relations and Government.
Thank you all for being here.
Karen Dixon,
Oh.
Alderman Ward 4,
Yeah.
Vice Chair General Committee.
That's correct. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you. We are looking at the acceptance of the agenda.
I so moved. Second.
That's approved. And now the minutes from April 8th, 2025.
Motion to accept the meeting minutes from April 8th. Second.
Okay, so approved. Do I have to do all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There's no citizens' comments for this evening, so we'll get right to the ordinances and resolutions.
Sorry, can we put Casey?
No, here's.
The first ordinance is the reading of ordinance 2025-10, an ordinance granting franchise to Piedmont Natural Gas Company Incorporated. So,
I have a couple of questions since you guys are here. Do you happen to know what the average monthly or annual bill for a residence would be?
I don't have that off the top of my head, but I'm happy to get that information to you.
I would just like to know how much it's going to cost our citizens to have 5%.
Oh, I can tell, we can, I think, one of the pieces to take into account, we ran some numbers just to give you some broad outline. Each in 20, I think it was 2023 were the last numbers. The franchise fee is based upon total revenue, so it's 5% of your total bill. So for example, if you have if the average bill was $150 over the course of the year, then you're talking roughly a $5 per month type of fee. But again, that's going to vary widely for different customers, depending on their usage and depending on the number of appliances they have. In terms of the total city, for example, that was roughly each 1% back in 2023 was about $39,000 per 1%. But remember, that includes the commodity cost, and it can go up and down. The commodity cost, we're a delivery company, and that the commodity cost is a straight pass through. We only charge what the market charges for commodities, and as that natural gas cost goes up and down, then that can vary some.
Sure.
So I'm sorry.
No.
In our packet, it says that this could be an additional general fund revenue of $195,000 a year. But did you just say it was 39,000
For 1%.
for 1%? Okay.
Correct. And again,
Which is 195.
Got it.
and that can go up and down. You could have a
Yeah.
really cold winter.
Yeah.
And more volume takes place and it can go up. You have a really warm winter. And the inverse could be true.
And if I may add, just to add a little bit, assuming you were more poised towards the residential
I-
customers. Yes.
Person.
So just doing some quick math, if you look at the total revenue for the city of Hendersonville, Piedmont revenue from the city of Hendersonville, and divide that by the customer count that you all have, it's roughly, and not to be held, this is non-scientific, this is just math on the paper. It's roughly $205 an average bill, but that is, again, with commercial as well, and industrial. extremely large homes down to your smallest customer. So, not that you can go by that, traditionally, but it's an estimate there.
I am more concerned about residential because while it certainly doesn't get as cold here as where I grew up, I am aware that some people skimp on heat.
Mhm.
And I don't want to complicate that for, I know how this sounds, but $195,000 relative to our budget is not significant, but 5% increase in a heat bill could be significant for some of our constituents. So I want to kind of know what the residential bills look like for an average.
A couple of things to consider with that. So you take into account your summer billing, assuming that they're only on heat only, you're looking at less than, with an average bill being much lower from that. They can also choose to temporarily disconnect their services and have them turn back on for the winter. So not much in there. So we're not talking about traditionally a 12 month that the bills will be the same. It's only per month. But it will be a couple of dollars extra based upon.
But rather than us speculate, how about we get you
Yeah.
ahead of your meeting? How about we get you that?
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
So explain more, folks who'll be watching this video or who may be watching right now. Why this ask? Why are you asking this?
Well,
Very
and
briefly.
I think I could also, Attorney Ray is welcome to join in as well. As we were, so state law actually requires a natural gas utility who's operating in a municipality to have a franchise with the municipality. As we were doing a review of our records, we determined that at some point, folks who were either in the municipal government, or it could have even been prior to the establishment of Hendersonville, because we have been operating since the 1850s in the Nashville area. There just wasn't a franchise put forward. And so we came forward and it was complete. We obviously, I think, could have just rocked along, but we wanted to come forward to the city and make you guys aware and met with the administration to discuss. And that's why we came forward. Is there a penalty for not having one? No, there's not. But this does make us all, I think, both the city and the utility compliant with state law.
Okay.
Is it franchise fee the same for all cities?
No,
So how do you come up with the number for us?
that's actually, I'm gonna leave that to Mr. Ray.
To reinforce what was just said also, it was more odd that we didn't have a franchise agreement than we're now getting one. It's anytime that you have infrastructure like that running through your town, you want to know what the rights and obligations and responsibilities are. So this agreement is modeled almost verbatim with most other cities. I know Mount Juliet for sure. So that's the reason we're here now, is because it was determined that there wasn't one when there should have been one probably. As far as the percentage, maximum, I think is 5%, right?
It generally, the utility commission and this agreement has to be approved by the utility commission in addition to approving by the board. But generally, both the utility commission and then the consumer advocate's office within the attorney general's office, they have really balked historically at anything over 5%. So it's not a statutory cap, but it's sort of a customary cap.
Kind of is. Kind of is, Cap.
But it will be up to Belmont to decide what that fee is going to be.
Anywhere from 1% to 5%.
I guess anywhere from 0 to 5%, really. But, yeah, I don't know if
Either way, though, it's still the franchise fee.
We still need to have an agreement, even if there's a
Agreed.
0%.
Yes, yeah, the agreement isn't just, it's more important than just the franchise.
Just look at your numbers you're asking for. See how it affects.
Yeah.
So I'm in Ward 3 and a lot of our constituents are retired and on a fixed income.
Yep.
Just for what it's worth, Jamie's here now and he wants to talk sometimes about garbage tax, but it actually goes up for my ward and down for high-end wards. And so, so once again, so many retired on fixed incomes that they don't only take an ambulance because it's a fee for that. They'd rather stay home.
Right.
So it's important for me in Ward, I know it's important for everybody, for me in Ward 3, being one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city, it's a big deal.
I'm so glad that we're kind of all taking this seriously because it's extra income for us. It doesn't come on a bill that says Hendersonville on it, although I think it would look like that on the line item on the gas bill, but it would be so easy for us to just say, yeah, let's max out on it and maximize this bit of revenue, but we care
Yeah.
how it is going to impact people. So
Yeah.
I tend to want to make a motion that we're neutral at this point. I'm neutral.
let's see, how does it read? I mean, we need to do an agreement. I think
I understand.
we're neutral on
Is the fee.
the fee,
Yes.
what percentage the fee should look like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm comfortable with that as well.
Okay.
I second.
I make the motion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great.
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
And if you need to go ahead and go, please do. Don't wait for us.
Thank y'all for coming.
Yes, thank you very much.
Do y'all need you?
No, that was yours.
Been funny.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, guys. All right, our second, resolution, or the other one was an ordinance. This is a resolution, the reading of resolution 2025-17, a resolution directing staff to explore the relocation of the U.S. Post Office currently located at 105 Imperial Boulevard, Hendersonville. One of the sponsors here is here with us tonight. So, Alderman Skidmore, can you give us more info, please?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to see everybody this evening and, we were sitting here talking early before the committee started that, I thought this was the first time that I'd been to your committee. And, then this our distinguished gentleman here told me, said, you were chairman of this committee many years, about 12 years ago. And I couldn't remember. And I go, that's right, I was. So anyway, but it is indeed good to see you tonight. That is before you is a resolution, about our post office. And if you would read the resolution, what it is specifically, and our city attorney Lance Ray did a really, really good job on this resolution. And I thank you for that, Lance.
Sure.
Alderman Bergdorf and myself have been speaking with our United States Senator from this area, or this side of, not of East Tennessee, but of West and Middle Tennessee, that she's very fond of this area. She used to represent in Congress and in the Senate in Nashville. And then along with our Congressman John Rose, we've been in discussion with them. And what they need, and of course, this is the very first thing, we're not even asking for we don't have a site location or anything, because really that's not really up to us just yet. But it very well could be in the future. But we're just laying the foundation with this now, because our colleagues in Washington, they have to have a resolution that says, that we're all in favor of needing a new post office. And we've had that one since President Carter was around. And if you'll notice, we desperately need a post office in town, a new one.
We're about 40,000 more people than when Carter was in office.
Yes, sir. Very much so. You're right. That's a good point to make. And so with the growth of Hendersonville, and then also on our future road improvement project, that they're wanting to possibly look into right there at Imperial Boulevard, have a roundabout there. And with the post office being there, that's going to be awful hard to do. And there's a lot of accidents there. I think one of our colleagues we served with, Mr. Martin, got hit there, right there at Rockland and Imperial, coming out by the post office. So, in saying that, and then I don't know if you're all are like me, I've been to the post office, and sometimes that line is ungodly, and to be honest with you, I'll sneak up to Goodlettsville where there's no one there, and drop off
Or
mail.
Gallatin.
Oh yeah, or Gallatin. That's it. Yeah, I used to go to Gallatin all the time too. But anyway, so the resolution, as long as we can get unanimous support and consent, and send it to our leaders in Washington, that's the first process. But as far I've noticed on social media that some people have been saying that we have, that we've already got a site picked out and things like that. That is so far from the truth that I just have to chuckle.
People don't tell the truth on
They-
social media.
Yeah.
Sorry to tell you in that, as
I know.
if it was your words.
No,
So
I've
I
never
never
said.
heard that
Yeah.
it was not your words.
Listen,
So that's
yeah.
that's nice to know.
Well,
I thought it was the cart before the horse.
well, I thought it was pretty.
And it on
yes.
steroids.
Yeah.
That's what I
Well, it's very premature because I have my own ideas where it could possibly go. The growth of Hendersonville could really be out there, Saundersville Road, around Indian Lake Center, or in that area, or so you could say it's back in Ward 2, but it's not in. Ward 1 we don't have any say so because we're all developed out. But it's just seeing right now we're just trying to take it one step at a time. And if it passes unanimously at the Board of Aldermen, which I hope that it does, it sends a message to Washington saying that it is time for a new post office for Hendersonville, and hopefully it'll be built something to the effect of the one in Goodlettsville, because that is a real nice post office. They've got a lot of room in there, and we won't have to work on mobile homes anymore in the back, because
Yeah.
if you drive through there, you'll see we've got mobile, and that's just our postmen need better room, or more room really, for that. So I will say this too, is if it does pass, which I'm feeling that it would, I hope that it would, then I'm going, then probably would be myself with working with the mayor of Hendersonville, along with Mr. Bergdorf, about getting his ideas and thoughts of what he envisions, the post office in being. But this is a long process, and probably we may not even be here, before it's even considered being built. But as long as we can get our foot, in the door, that's what I'm hoping to achieve this evening, with the support of this committee, and in 2 weeks at the Board of Aldermen. Are there any other questions on there? It's really self-explanatory, but I appreciate you saying that, because I don't have any say so of where a post office would even begin to go.
None
I
of us
just know we need one.
None of us do.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not.
We all have ideas.
Yes. Yeah.
Where we would put it with our magic wands, but,
Right.
but it might take a magic wand to even get one built.
Yeah. It very well could be. They may say, hey, because it's happened before. We've done this once before, and it fell upon deaf ears in Congress. But at that time, the leadership was a lot different as it is now. So
Fair enough.
My only thing is, Alderman Wood, that it says on number 3 on here, report back city staff to return to the Board of Aldermen within 180 days with findings, potential site options, any feedback obtained, and recommendations for next steps. I would like to, because the 180 days, one only can guess.
Yes.
It'll take a lot of persistence for staff, but
Would
I'd
you-
like to say, and every 60 days after that until resolved.
Okay. I was gonna say to you that if you think that that date is, too
No, I think,
close or too
just,
close.
they can even just tell us, well, we can't get anybody to return an email or
Right,
talk,
okay.
we can't get a meeting
Well,
set.
we've
But
talked
then
to
have
Van
a
Hillary
couple
about it.
months
I
later
mean,
Tell us
yeah.
again, keep us in the loop is what
Right.
I'm thinking to have.
well, John, both, the senator, and her name escapes me. Marcia, God, don't ever tell her I said that because she would look at me like I was a doofus. But Senator Blackburn and John and Congressman Rose, they've been very open and they've been in contact with us, and I can only imagine why, because we've got a governor's election coming up in the state of Tennessee. So they're both seriously, obviously considering it, and they both are the representatives of this area, so they're both right on it. So I'm saying, hey, let's strike while the iron's hot.
It's a good, way to do it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we can, yeah, we'll go back to whatever you guys say with that. I don't have a problem with
I
that
would
at
just
all.
like to make sure it's not a one report and then it falls off of our radar.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'd like to retouch it every couple of months.
Sure, they'd be glad to, because like I said, this past Saturday, we spoke to Van Hillary at the GOP breakfast. And he was, he said, just let it, he goes, you all get with the mayor, whatever that you need to do, and then let us, once we get that resolution, fax it to us or send it via email or whatever, and then they'll start on it. And then Senator Blackburn's people said the same thing, but they weren't there. They did theirs on the phone.
Yeah.
So, but I thank you.
I have questions. There's probably a big old question mark in there.
Yes.
We started out with, we need that area for a roundabout.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what plan is that roundabout in? Is it in our plan for, is it in our transportation plan? Is it in the plan for that whole, what is the
Like
name?
Rockland Road.
Now, what is,
Imperial.
now what is the name of the plan for that?
Westlake.
Westlake. Is it in our Westlake?
But
Is it
we
in
do
our
have
floor improvements? Where is that set?
That's good
We
thing,
say
yeah.
we need that. Where does it sit right now?
It's in the Westlake plan, number one. As far as the transportation plan, it has been discussed.
It's in there.
Yeah, it is.
It is in
Both, yeah.
transportation. Okay.
So it's in there.
All right, that's good.
It's in the.
We both,
we
worked on it.
Yeah.
And I thank you both for reminding me of that. And I'm chairman of Public
Yeah, yeah.
Works, and
Okay,
but I
that's fine.
thought
I just need
thought
to
it
know
was. Yeah.
if we're following due process.
Oh, yes, we are.
I
Yes,
just-
I-
and-
you know me, I would not do it.
Why is it in our interest as a city to explore the relocation of that building?
Well,
Why would we not leave that up to them to explore a relocation?
that's a good question. The way that I would respond to that is sometimes you got to push, and you know what I'm talking about, Washington. And even though we're a small town and it's just the post office, it's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
I think this is not dissimilar to a few weeks ago when we did the resolution saying, don't come in here and highly regulate our codes and our zoning. It's just saying, hey, guys, this is something we would like to be
Yeah.
on your to-do list
All right.
to evaluate.
I just, and that's a good point. I worry, I don't want to put a strain on our city staff for this
Yeah,
with no need. I
no,
think, I'm just wondering if there's a way to write it in such a way that we understand, we hear from our constituents that we have to stand in line for hours.
Yeah.
We hear from them that my mail is weeks late.
Yes.
Weeks late. I subscribe to the email that comes that tells you what email is coming, what mail is going to be delivered in your mailbox. And it'll say it's going to be delivered today. And 3 days later, I may get the entire list of what came 3 days before. That's something wrong there. There's something in their process. I don't know if it's hiring. I don't know what is going on. We go in now and there's one person working instead of 3 or 4. And they will tell you out of their own mouths that I'm the only person working today. We don't have anybody else on.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing up this to say that those types of conversations need to be had. And I have had them with Johnny Garrett. Hope Johnny's listening because I've had them with him and probably started 3 years ago. And because I get calls and
Yeah.
just in the grocery store, somebody asked me the other day, we're not going to fix that rundown post office we've got, and I have to explain that's not really our role.
Right.
And I really don't want it to be our role.
Well, it shouldn't, but I appreciate what you're saying because I get them too. I get it, but I think that would be really, I don't know that I think the Postmaster General would be the one that you have to really talk to about that. And her job is right there. Lance, did you?
Oh, man.
Yes.
So I believe the way I understand it is all of this is internal to the post office. They just need the nudge, as Vice Mayor Skidmore says. They need to it to be addressed with them, but there's a roadmap that they have to go by, which is they have to have an internal evaluation about it. They have to have some kind of concept study.
Sure. Yeah.
I believe they may take suggestions or recommendations for a location from the local officials, but staff isn't doing a study to determine the best place for a post office. All that's done with the U.S. Postal Service.
But that's kind of how this reads.
What's that?
That staff is, and it's direction to staff directed to initiate a preliminary review and engagement process. Then scope of the review is to coordinate, look at potential alternative locations, evaluation of zoning, infrastructure, transportation
So
access.
I might have not been real clear when I wrote that, but I wrote that to say that that's what we're asking the Postal Service to do.
Okay, so we may need to.
If you want to make an amendment and then request that, that would be part of the resolution asking the United States Post Office to do that very thing.
Yes,
I would welcome that, honestly.
I do. I would like in step 2, for the scope of the review to be that we reword it so that it is clear that it's the United States Post Office that's doing
Sure.
that work.
Okay.
And our staff is lending the assistance.
Yes.
Replace.
I welcome that. I think that's a good thing to do.
We'll
Yeah.
make that amendment happen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
mean,
Thank you, Lance.
somebody will-
I got you.
Yeah, I'll help. Try to remember that.
It's somewhat anecdotal, but like, as you guys know, because I complain about it every 15 minutes, my mailing address is Gallup.
Yeah.
And it causes confusion. And my mail is very reliable. And I get a lot of complaints from my constituents with Hendersonville mailing addresses. So I'm well aware of the issues. And in fact, it's been a long time ago because it was Jonathan Hayes that was on board with me. And Mayor Clary and I met with John Rose's office to talk about switching the Gallatin mailing address people to Hendersonville and then pump the brakes instantly because I don't want to change everybody's post office over to Hendersonville and then they don't have good service. And while staffing and other things are probably primarily to blame for that, we have no influence over that. But I'm hopeful that by pursuing that's probably too strong a word, but lobbying for a new location, it will bring a focus to our post office that maybe,
Yeah.
because there's nothing I can do to help my constituents get their mail because it's federal. But if we can shine a light on the post office and maybe getting them better facilities would help. I mean, they're trying to sort so much mail through such a small little building. It cannot help them be organized when they
Yeah.
just do not fit in that building.
Yes.
So maybe it would help some, but I think people and staffing are probably the primary issue that they have. But I'm all for shining a light on the post office. And also want to say that I've never had a constituent blame the mail carrier. So I'm not
Right.
trying to say that the people there are terrible. I think they're just short staffed
I do too.
and the building's not adequate and
Well, I think Chairman Garza said something that really hit home with me. We're about 40,000 too late right
Yeah.
now, and that is so true.
maybe
mean,
they
if you
can
think about
attract better people. Maybe people would be more likely to go to the Hendersonville post office than our neighbors if it were a better facility. And here we are, three of us, you didn't speak up, but three of us go to a different post office than Hendersonville
Right.
Well, I hear
because
that.
you're so close to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. But I go to that one, but I also go to Gallatin.
I have been to Hendersonville, turned my car around and drove to Gallatin.
Now, that's a story I hear a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen.
And I've also gone to Goodlettsville because by the time I get there, then I might as well just go to Goodlettsville.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to deal with it, so I'll just start at Gallatin. So there you go. I mean, that's fourth of Dunwoody, right?
Yeah, well,
Do I need to make a motion for what I said or will?
that's,
I just stepped in.
that's,
Well, I believe y'all, amendments aren't made at the.
Okay, got it.
level, so.
Right.
Got it.
In your,
We'll just make a
I
recommendation.
made some notes. Okay, so, thank you, Mr.
I would like to send
All right,
a
thank you.
positive recommendation. Given that you will
Yes,
say we have ideas for amendments in your report.
you good with that? So, I'm sorry, go ahead, Chair.
So the first three items that are for the scope of review are relatively light lifts for staff. So some of them could be, we could differentiate, but staff has been, I don't know if Alderman Skidmore discussion with the mayor, but staff has already been directed into planning to find sites that would be potential for consideration. So where those have been identified, I don't know that they've been pushed forward exactly because there's not this reso, if that's the next step that they needed. But again, they're pretty light lifts. The coordination after those are done, that's kind of, where that handoff would be appropriate. But it's, there's a level where staff is,
Okay.
Well, you know where all the land is available to help.
yeah, where it makes more sense.
And it's not all city land, right?
No, none of
Okay, great. Good job.
So, there's a motion to send this to Bowman with a positive recommendation, a second, by Alderman Dixon, and we will look at a couple amendments on here. One of them's the dates. You spoke of, not letting it expire 180 days, and number two, step two is what I wrote U.S. Post Office.
Clarify this.
Oh, that's
Step
who,
two.
that step two is because that's who's responsible for this is the U.S.
Right.
Post Office, not the city of Hendersonville.
Yes, number two, the
Right, okay.
Clarify.
board, Yeah, it says the whole name on it,
Well, it's possible
so
too.
that's gonna be.
So we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Hi.
All right, we have other agenda
Thank you very
items.
much.
Thank you for all these good ones. Vice Chair, Mayor, good one.
Yes, yes, sir.
No, say thank you. too.
Oh, guys, I've done something wrong.
Something that bounced, it was a light.
It's just a ramper.
Oh, it's a wrap.
Oh, here it is.
So on other agenda items, we have a discussion of semi-truck parking, I think. Mayor Claire was talking about that. one of the-
This was his item. We deferred it last meeting.
Right.
So
She's in finance, so we're gonna have to defer this one again.
deferred.
And any other business that we need to discuss? In general? Everybody's cool? Need a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.